Kentucky, it looks like they're calling that race right now that Donald Trump has won.
Yeah, that's right. So a protest here in front of the Justice Center set to take place at noon. Some people starting to trickle in.
Now, when bars and restaurants do open at 50% on Monday, are there plans to enforce masks with citations at restaurants and bars? This right here is not how you practice social distancing. However, this is considered good social distancing. Are you taking it seriously?
Bowling Green police have not considered this case cold, so it is active. They are actively investigating this case as a homicide investigation.
Now, the president has made a lot of comments against mail-in voting. Do you think that his comments will hurt his votes coming from mail-in ballots? Mitch McConnell, a narrow lead over opponent Amy McGrath. Now, there's a lot of eyes right now on Pennsylvania. From a cloth mask to a surgical mask to no mask at all. The medical center helped me test out to see if these masks actually do block germs when you cough. Hey! Our mouths are full of bacteria.
When I talk, when I cough, things like that, I am putting out aerosols from my respiratory secretions.
Masks are worn to protect others from getting your germs. The CDC recommends it. Doctors preach it. Science proves it.
Number one thing to prevent the spread of COVID.
But there's still some pushback on the matter. So the medical center's laboratory invited me in to help unmask the truth with a little science experiment.
So today I'm going to have you cough on these Petri dishes.
All while wearing a cloth mask.
Can I cough into that? Yes.
To a surgical mask. To no mask. Those Petri dishes then were put in an incubator.
Plates are incubating right now at body temperature to grow the bacteria.
After 24 hours, here's what manifested in those little Petri dishes.
With a cloth mask, you can see that nothing came out.
As was the same for the surgical mask.
The cloth masks and the surgical masks are about the same.
And finally, the moment of truth. And a quite visually disturbing one to take in.
Many bacteria came out.
Coughing with no mask cultured these colorfully earthy circles. Germs.
Respiratory secretions produced normal flora that comes out when you're speaking.
So if I was infected with COVID and maskless while out in public, those germs have the potential to spread to someone at risk.
Your normal secretions contain all of that stuff.
From a cough to a culture, straight from the science lab. And while perhaps it may be a visual and nauseating illustration, but this final product allows us to literally see what happens when our mouths aren't shielded. Again, proving that masks matter. Because our neighbors sure do too.
I'm protecting others and protecting the young and the old.
Reporting for 13 News, I'm Kelly Dean.
We knew with the last beat of his heart that he was present with the Lord.
Many believe that when we die, our souls advance to heaven, leaving behind our earthly bodies.
And he was looking at the Lord's beautiful face as he opened his arms for his child.
Family of Gary Woodward, finding strength in knowing heaven, gained a selfless soul Saturday.
We will never forget him. Never.
Gary worked at St. Thomas West in Nashville for 25 years. He was the ICU team leader, a frontline hero during a global pandemic. The reality of his life's sacrifice becoming real on October 26th.
That little cough progressed into a massive cough by Sunday.
The power of prayer and a vow renewal. The significant symbols simply not enough to keep Gary's earthly body living.
We felt like he was going to get through it. He had an amazing team. It was his team of coworkers that cared for him every day.
Almost exactly 1 month after a positive result, Gary was called to heaven.
We were all there with him. I guess the last thing he heard was us telling him how much we loved him. He was our rock, and that rock is gone.
But that rock has left stones, ones that continue to do the selfless work he poured his life into.
We're a healthcare family.
His wife, Jackie, 3 daughters, Ashley, Jennifer, and Lindsay, seeing their rock's passion, causing a ripple effect through their own lives.
I went into nursing because of him, and actually worked in the very ICU that he works in for my very first job.
As witnessed throughout his decades as a nurse, Gary's family realizing his job went far beyond a 7 to 7 shift.
The nurses on the front line, they take this to heart when something happens and their patient doesn't make it. This was devastating for Gary's St. Thomas team.
And so, a healthcare hero becoming a hero in heaven. A rock he may be gone, but his life's work never forgotten, living on through those he loved the most.
I don't want anybody to forget Gary Woodward. He was the strongest man I know, and he gave his life as he cared for others.
Gary is also survived by 6 grandchildren. His family says he did not have any underlying health conditions. Reporting for 13 News, I'm Kelly Dean.